Where have I put his suit? Where's Daddy put it? Ah, Daddy's a prick. Right. I've had to do another stream, so I don't know if we're going to get people on, because see if that holds. If it doesn't, we will abort the stream. Alright? Don't make trouble for me though, yeah? Don't make trouble for your dad, yeah? Don't make trouble for your dad. Right? Oh, be a good girl. Be a good girl. Ah, I didn't bring my little... I've got a clip thing. It clips onto the side of... what do you call it? Clips onto the side of tables and stuff. So you can have an instant camera holder, basically. Right. Bunker's open. Dog is alive. So, I may have run out of... I didn't bring my phone. I may have... Did I bring my glasses? No, but I shouldn't need them. I may have run out of notifications, so I don't know if I'm going to get this one out today. Actually, let me try and share this a second. If I can. Oh, I don't know if I can on this phone. No, didn't think about this stream before I started. I'm on the wrong phone to share it as well. Never mind. Never mind, it doesn't matter. People have to watch it on replay. I've been recording a lot, and I've probably got about 5 videos, some of which I don't know whether to release. Not because they're like super controversial in nature, but because people will probably take it that way, and because of what's happened recently. I know the same names are going to go through people's heads, regardless of whether I actually mean those names or not. But at the same time, I'm not going to start self-censorship. So, yeah. But what I did also think was that maybe I could couple of points a lot simpler than release an entire video for a couple of those things. Maybe in a live now, just talking with a few subs and yeah, just talking. Hey, yeah, how you doing? And just letting my opinions out. And even if people don't see it live, because like I say, I have used up my notifications, then they can have a look later. But again, so I don't want to make this aimed at anybody. This is more about how I feel, and I could be totally off. Other people may disagree with me, and that is totally fine. That is what we're here for. We're here to make an argument and be wrong, you know. But I feel as a person that's been a member of this movement for a long time, as a person that's fought for it just like other people, and has given to it just like other people, and has cared about it and our country just like other people. We've all put our bit in, and I've put it in because I genuinely care, and I've been trying to put the pieces together in my head of why certain things are happening at the moment. And it's very frustrating because you obviously think about ego, ambition, stuff like that. But still, beyond that, what you know, and I'm trying not to find an enemy. Do you know what I mean? I'm trying not to find an enemy because it's the last thing I need at the moment, to be frank. But how I feel as I've started to accumulate arguments from the last 2 or 3 weeks, you don't get a pattern from one video, although you get some big tells. But when you put them over the top of each other, and this is we're talking about across YouTube now, when you get certain people's content, when you put it across each other, and the slips that they make in different videos, if you put them together, they make certain sense of where their political stance really is. And how I feel at the moment is a little betrayed. I feel a little betrayed. I don't know how much to feel betrayed. I don't know if I'm right to feel betrayed. I don't know if I'm being paranoid. But I feel like I have been for at least a short period of time, if not longer, but at least for a period of time, in a right-wing movement, believing that I was following right-wing people, when actually the centre, the people who everyone considers to be passive, the people that everyone considers to be no threat because they don't consider them to be an aggressive political opponent, have actually grabbed hold of our movement by the throat and have been using it for their own political means, and their own way of doing things. That's how again, this is just me reading between the lines because that's all I've been left with. So I could be totally off base. I'm speculating, but I'm speculating based on what has been said by various people out of their own mouth. So it's not second hand, so I'm looking and I'm like, have I been, I'm not talking about anybody else, just me. Have I been fucking had? If so, for how long? I don't know. Hopefully not long. But I feel like I've been had because I thought I was in a right-wing movement where we are proud to be conservative, and we're not ashamed to be conservative, and we will talk about conservative values, and we talk about preserving things, keeping traditions, the nuclear family, all these things. These are all part of what it means to be on the right, to fight for these values. How am I suddenly part of a group that is I've been betrayed. How have I suddenly become part of a group, the right wing, which has literally been 50% of politics in Britain for the last 500... Wait, no, Sue! Fucking bitch. Do when you're told. Oi, when you're told. Come here, Sue, enough. When you're told. I don't mind, it's but when I say. Right, chill. Oi, she's taking the fucking piss out of you. She's taking the piss out of you, Sue. Yeah, and she's taking the piss out of me. No. She knows what she's doing. She's trying to get you in trouble. Right, sorry. So, I feel a bit betrayed because I feel a bit like maybe, and again, I don't know, because I know a lot of the people who are responsible for running a lot of things in the movement are definitely right-wing. You know, I've had deep conversations with them about their politics, and they're definitely right-wing. You know, some of the people I met around Tommy, definitely right-wing. You know, so no fear there. So I'm not trying to say the whole movement's corrupt not like that at all. But there's just certain influences, certain podcasts. I prefer podcasts than calling podcasters influencers in this country. And just you know, rhetoric that's come out of certain corners. I've never really understood why until now. Maybe it didn't seem to fit, or why people seem to be at odds when they shouldn't have been. It's because people were pretending to be right-wing when they weren't, I think. But I don't know. But that's how it feels. And therefore, I have been had. And no, by the way, if I have, then nobody's at fault but me. That's on me. For being stupid. But before I can, you know, I really want to move forward, and thank fuck we've got some hope and some people that are serious about politics moving forward, because otherwise this would be quite a depressing time. But in spite of the best efforts of whoever is really behind all this, because I do believe that if I'm right about any of this, it's not the usual suspects who would be behind something like that. It'd be someone much bigger, you know. I wouldn't even. How would I know? You know. So I wouldn't put all the blame on anybody's shoulders that I know, because it would probably come from, again, somewhere else. Because you have to have a lot of influence, and you can pull people down a path they don't even know they're being pulled down. So I don't even know what's happened, and to make accusations or suggestions would be to do it so while we're in a blindfold. But I do feel like I've been led down a path. I do feel like you know, this is why at times we have seemed to get on a real roll and then backed off right at the time when we seem to have the government by the bollocks, or, you know, we seem to get into something done and then we pull back. We get right to something done and then we pull back. And I've never understood how this was possible. And I'm beginning to understand how it's possible now. So this is even more reason why I need to be independent. As I said, don't get me wrong, there's plenty of people in this movement from top to bottom, like Tommy's crew, other people I've talked to in great depth who are absolutely right-wing. So I'm not suggesting, oh, the whole movement's full of centrists, and, you know, I'm not suggesting that at all. Please don't gauge my disappointment as a reflection of my feeling about the entire movement. It's just my feeling about some of the videos that I've seen, and what I think is a realization in me of what I'm seeing, and just the disappointment that comes with that, and disappointment in myself. And I'm not going to be had like it again. And this is even more reason to stay independent, to use my own eyes and ears, because that's what I started this doing in 2018. I was sick to death of seeing the news showing whatever they wanted to, and I knew that even though all I could offer you was the same camera lens as them, I knew I could still offer better, but I could offer myself a chance to go in and get a front row seat, and I did. That's exactly what I did. And the first thing I went to do was when, do you remember when they were showing series of Remainers in London every day, and then like no Brexiteers or whatever they used to call them? And so I went there to see for myself, because I just, you know, and when I went there, it was a lack of both. There was about 30 Remainers and about 20 Leavers, and a complete non-event. And a guy called Steve, who everybody knows, who was paid to be there anyway. So it was really, it was nothing like the pictures that had been painted by Sky. And that was, you know, I think it was Douglas Murray that got, or someone like that got me on that path. If you want, no, it wasn't. It was Peter Hitchens. If you really want the truth, go see it for yourself. So I did. I went and saw it for myself, you know, and I can tell you, like, most people I've met on the streets in this movement are not centrists. They do have those traditional values. A lot of them very much in traditional values, more so than me, and they are good people. They're the people of this country, and I've not heard any of them be racist. That's just not what they're about. Like, this isn't the 1960s. Life's bigger than that now. Life's far bigger. So many of us are so over race. That's what these other people don't understand, is that so many of us are so over it. The only thing that people don't want is to be replaced in their own country, and to have violent people brought into a country, and that's of any race. That's got nothing to do with race. And we're an island that's been acting like an empire and taking people on. When you got Europe, which is a massive landmass, and we're taking on people like we're an empire. Well, we can't do that. You can't give us hosepipe bans and talk about National Health Service and everything else, and then, you know, say there's not enough water, and then, you know, you can't do all these things at once. So, except they can, and they have. So, you know, we didn't put us in this mess. And do you know what? Some of the people that might be deported might be owed reparations, and you might go, what? And the reason I say it is our government should never have let them in the first place. They are responsible. All of our governments are responsible for what they did. So I don't even care if they end up getting sued, because of the fact of it is they are not, like, obviously if it's some new government, but I'm talking about the old governments, because they've all been part of the same chain of people that's enabled this continuation of replacement. They've all looked in your faces and told you that they were working their hardest on immigration, only to double the amount of people coming in the next year. No intention. Whether it's Conservatives, whether it's been Labour, it's been the same result. Nothing has changed. That's why people don't go out and vote now. That's why I believe that Brexit, for as much as Brexit was for Brexit, and I won't have people say any different, I still believe there was an element of it that was also an anti-establishment vote. They assumed to know what the people would do because they pretty much had told them what to do. You will vote this. And I think they totally underestimated the people's free will. And I'll maintain to this day that some of that vote was an anti-establishment vote. It was a fuck you. You've got it wrong. We want to decide our own future, actually. And I think that's what got so many people outvoted. Because they were almost laughed at for wanting the referendum. Look at the trouble it caused. You know, that's real. That happened. You don't need to make stuff up. But yeah, you know, I'm everybody who's taking on board the idea that being on the right is in any way, shape or form got anything to do with race needs to stop immediately. Because yeah, I get that your politics, centrist politics, is different from ours, but you absolutely know from standing side by side with us for years and years and years that that's not what these people of this movement are about. And do not disgrace us by ignoring us, by taking away the rights of the entire conservative community to have a voice, because they are not the type of people that are just going to allow you to erase them. There are millions and millions of voters in this country, and they've been here for hundreds of years. You don't just get to eliminate their opinion and their existence and call them far right, just like our Prime Minister did. And that's what our Prime Minister did. That is exactly what our Prime Minister did. Got in power and labelled anybody that was on the right of politics as fucking scumbag. And I'm not going to have it again. I got rumbled by listening to people. This is why I am committed to staying, what's the word? Authentic, but what's the word? Independent. And whilst I know I'm not always going to get it right, I've got, as I said to you, family members and people like that help keep me straight. And I'd rather do the best I can, but at least I don't have an agenda. And at least I am who I say I am, which is a great start. If we can't start with honesty, then where are we at? You know, I'm right wing. I've often said to you, I'm probably not very good at being right wing, because I'm pretty much easy come, easy go kind of person. I'm not the hardest kind of right wing person you find in terms of other people more strict than me. But when I look at the policies and look at the alternatives, that's where I fall. I feel that maybe I'd be slightly different if the stakes were different, but we've all been sort of pushed to a political place. But because I could never be, that was the other word that's been used in a lot of these videos, extreme, about being, if you're on the right. I forgot that one, that people were saying people on the right were extreme. Again, we were talking about conservative values, a voting system that's existed for hundreds of years. How is that extreme? It's the opposite from that. It's contemporary, it's normal, it's traditional. So, yeah, I refuse to be part of that and part of that narrative. And actually, no, the conservative people of this country make up at least 50% of it, have done for hundreds of years. and are very important. And the balance between them and the progressives, some parts of our history has actually been very useful to our history for balancing balancing moving forward with pragmatism, and they've both played their part. And to try and reduce anybody down to anything like that is not helpful for politics. It's not helpful for the people. It's not helpful for the voters. And I don't want to be part of anything like that at all. I feel let down by that. And I've only really sort of put it... Again, I'm sorry, you're getting my response to all these videos, of which there are quite a few if you go on X, from different people. And I'm just thinking about it in real time as I've been putting this all together. And the message is, we've got to appeal to the centre, because we are centre, and we have had hold of the movement. If we don't get what we want, you'll get called a racist. I don't know how else. What am I left with? What am I left with? So, I'm still not ready to demonise Ben Habib. I just don't know enough about him, and his behaviour right now does not match, from what I understand, his behaviour from before. So therefore, that sounds like other stuff's going on. So I'm just staying out of that, because I just don't know enough to have an opinion. And now the party looks, but that's different. That's different from Ben himself. So I'm just staying out of that and seeing what happens with that. But it's not looking good at the moment, is it? Rupert, on the other hand, has so far he's not faced... Well, I say he has not faced adversity. He has, actually. So from day one, he's had all this. So he has. What he's done is put out a manifesto, and he's not engaged in any of this, which is the professional politician thing to do. Not to get into social media spats, not get into, you argue with certain parties, but you certainly don't argue with other right-wing parties very often, and you certainly don't turn it into a war of personal words. So he's kind of got it all right. He's doing exactly the right things. So, a lot of people are levying accusations towards him, but at the end of the day, I've not seen proof of anything yet. And so I can only judge him, because I don't know him as well as many of you. I can only judge him by his actions. So far, his actions have been professional. His actions have been positive. He's not played the cat and mouse game, but also he has been showing that he's working politically. And the first thing he did, rather than get involved in wars and things like that, was put out a manifesto that I said to you literally 2 days before, and it's got nothing to do with me, but I literally said to you 2 days before, if these people don't put repealing Starmer's acts on their manifestos, they won't get my vote. And then literally, I think it was 2 days later, he comes out with that manifesto, and what was on there? Repealing all Starmer's laws, including the Online Safety Act. So this never happened before. So this was a huge deal for me. So I'm very excited about it. And listen, I'm British. As I said, we're always waiting for the other shoe to drop. We're always looking for the potential for someone to let us down. And that's why you've got to be careful not to put anyone on a pedestal, because otherwise they will let you down. But at the same time, until I see something concrete, I'm not going to take the word over a centrist with an agenda over someone who is right-wing trying to fight for his country. Until I see something different, then he's got more of my support, because I'm seeing exactly now what's happened. I'm seeing what's happened in terms of a political split. The centre really believe that we need them, and yet by so many people, so many centrists that have spoken to me, who are nice people, by the way, have said to me that the centre has dissolved away over recent years. So it's not the big base that we pretend that it is. So I don't know. But either way, that's not really the point, is it? The point of it is you don't demonise Conservative voters when they are a massive lump of the country. Even if people aren't going out and voting, they're, you know, there's two types of politics, isn't there? There's the party politics and there's the politics that you believe in at home. It doesn't mean they don't match. It just means that you know, one is to do with what you see on TV and the party politics, and the other is what you believe in your core values. Not that they're not tied, but you know what I'm trying to say. So, yeah, you know, for people to say some of the things they've been saying at the moment about the general pop, yeah, and their own admission of being in the centre, I'd have to say that they've kind of admitted to running a centrist policy in a right-wing movement without actually saying so, which to me is hijacking. I don't know. I'm not qualified to answer things like this, and and again, it's not about the accusation, because who would I accuse? I don't even know, and what would anybody get out of it? Absolutely nothing. It's more about making sure that I don't fall for stupid shit again in the future, and it's making sure that, you know, this is why I need to stay independent, but also, like, even backing Rupert, I need to be really, really careful backing Rupert. I want to trust him, I want to believe in him, I really do, because he seems like everything we need, but I'm still going to be careful with him, because so many people let us down, and I'm not going to keep making the same mistake over and over and over again, otherwise the joke's on me. So, even if I do support Rupert, even if I do, I'm still going to be cautious, because, you know, because we've been let down so much, and because we really don't have wiggle room this time. We're running out of time. We don't have wiggle room like we've had before. The reason, again, I'll say what I said before, the reason we're down to mass deportations is because we've let it get this far. We've let it get too late. We wouldn't be at this point if we'd done something a long time ago. So, you know, people can say how bad it is that we're talking about it, but it's like, this wouldn't have been necessary. Like, we've just let it slip and slip and slip and slip. So, you know, it's not what anybody would consider optimal, but it's because of again, being lied to. Being lied to. What did Boris Johnson say? We're going to borrow your vote. Yeah, and once again, we're going to have to take a leap of faith in someone. But I'm damn sure going to make sure they're right wing at the moment, because they're the only people that are likely to save this country. Not the centre, not the left. I'm sorry, but this is just the way it is. Not the far right, but the right. They're the only people at the moment that are likely to put the brakes on all the madness that's going on. I'm not saying they're perfect. I'm not saying they're going to fix everything. I'm saying there's a lot of stuff that we want at the moment to get done that they are motivated to do. That's a match made in heaven for as long as it lasts. It won't last forever. Things go wrong in the end. But if we can get... Sue, don't be rude. Sue, don't be rude. If we can get everything done on that manifesto, we've made so much ground. So much ground. You know, and whatever happens from there, happens from there. But we've given your kids a chance. We've given the next generation a chance. You know, everybody tells me that's what they're fighting for. So, you know, I've made that one of the things I'm focusing on too for them. And like I say, so, you know, I've got to be a bit standoffish with whoever I back at the moment until I'm fully satisfied. And Rupert's not been around for me because I don't know him like some of you do. Enough for me to like fully say, oh yeah, I know everything, because I don't know him as well as many of you do. But there's certainly, at the moment, there's certainly nobody else that is doing anything for me, you know, and I'm certainly not anything led by any centrist. You know, we might as well join Reform, and from my understanding, some of us nearly did at one point. that's, I think, where the movement was being dragged at one point, until we sort of backed out. But I don't know. Do you know, I don't care. I care about what comes forward now. Sorry, I'm scratching my ear in that, aren't I? I worry about, you're on camera, Tom. I worry about what's coming in the future. In terms of, you know, I know I've repeated this, but I do really think this next election is our last chance. We've talked about, you know, running out of political solutions. We've talked about running out of time. And like I said to you, we've got to mass deportations because of the fact that we've let things go. And it's hard to see how much longer we would be able to seriously think that anybody could fix this. You know, we are, or even now, with the hope we've got now, let's say Rupert's is as good as he seems to be, and he manages to, and he does go for everything. It's still going to be an uphill battle, because people are just going to make it as difficult as possible. It doesn't mean it can't be done, by the way. It's just going to be an uphill battle. So let me catch up with you guys. I just wanted to get that off my chest. Hope you don't mind. Hello there. Hi, it's good to see you. Bear in mind, I can only see 1/3 of the comments-ish. It's always hard to give you an exact percentage, but because I'm on Prism, it will only show me the top chat, not the live chat, guys, so I do apologise. But hello to everybody. Hello to Craig, Tina, Zydeco, and Dave. Good to see you. Good to see you, Dave, my man. Do not tell them about Kevin Bloody Wilson. By the way, I'm sorry if I have looked tired in my video. Someone mentioned to me that I had, and I'm not going to lie, I have been absolutely knackered. I made, like, hey Sue, don't be annoying. I've made multiple, like, sorry, this is unbelievable. Today I made 5 videos, and some of them I'm probably not going to use, some I might do, but I go through recording phases, and then sometimes you don't feel like it as much. So sometimes it's make hay while the sun shines. So I've been recording a lot of videos. Some of them I will release probably tomorrow, just simply because you're not going to get the notifications now. So they only allow us like 3 releases a day. So there's stuff I'd like to release today, but I'll probably wait till tomorrow. But I break down some of this other stuff a little bit more. But also I'm trying to move on to the next subjects. But I realised I can't cover these other parties at the moment because of the way they're behaving. So I'll cover Rupert for now, and anybody else that's prepared to come and talk about policy. And yeah, the ones that aren't talking about policy, I'm just going to leave alone for the moment, because it's, you know, it's great for a bit of drama, but it's doing us no good moving forward. And some of us, the whole reason why Rupert got so much support, more than him being Superman or anything else, was that this country is just so tired, and we just want to move forward. We just want our country to move forward. We don't want it to be destroyed. People have made up their minds. They don't want to be extinguished. We want to survive. And finally you got someone coming in saying they're prepared to do that. And then people would dare to shame British people for feeling that they just want someone to fucking stop what's happening to us. Everyone around the world can see it. The only place we're in denial is here, because we're almost like North Korean television, and that's we've been forced what to think. Everybody outside our country can see it. That's what's crazy. It's well worth going and having a look at major podcasts, you know, when they talk about Britain. Notice a change in their tone now. Like, it's not just the conspiracy theorists or whatever else. Like, there's a tone change, whether it's business, whether it's AI, whether it's comedians on a podcast roast. The way they talk about Britain now is totally different. There's a quietness there. There's a few admissions there. It's a different kettle of fish now. And we're right in the middle of it. We're too close to it to see just how much the perception of us has changed. Not necessarily of British people, but the way Britain is as a place to live. Nobody's really planning a holiday here right now, you know. You can thank Mr. Starmer. The only people planning a holiday here are from Syria. That's Mr. Starmer for you. Syria and Pakistan and Somalia. But permanent holiday. But yeah, everybody else has decided to avoid it because when you've got Americans saying, I don't want to come to Britain because the knife crime sounds bad, when you've got cities in America where the murder rate is what it is, you know that the country's really changed. Because at one time Americans didn't worry about that kind of stuff coming here because they had it so much worse where they came from. So, yeah. Anyway. I can only read what comes through to me, guys, but I'll have a look. Ridiculous labels, I see that. Oh, there's more comments come through this time. Someone said to me they're taking 2 minutes to come through. Can anybody vouch for how long they're taking to come through today? Hey Craig, good to see you, my friend. Stefan, great to see you, my buddy. Your values must be just, moral, and if we follow that, we won't go far wrong. So far right, left, left. It's just a box they want to put you in. It's simple, right versus wrong. Yeah, fair. Yeah, Stefan. Yeah. I can't argue that at all. That's fair play. No notifications again. Oh no. I mate, no. I'm not gonna slag YouTube. I think I've used them up. Sorry, I've used them up. Trying to catch up, so I'm going today I'm going from the oldest comments to the newest ones, so bear with me. Be polite, Sue. Sue, I know, Sue, I know. Beep, beep. Sorry. I know, it's alright. It's alright, Daddy's okay. You're okay. Sit down for a sec, Sue. We're going to end this live stream. Sit down for me. Headshot dead. Headshot dead. That's it. Right, sorry. That's it. Oh, that's a good girl, yeah. Yeah, wait for Dad. Look, protect Dad, yeah? Protect Dad while I'm doing this. Sorry, let's try and... I'm looking forward to them being held accountable. Don't know if they will be. Sorry, I don't know how many comments I've missed here. Oh yeah, okay, I think I'm on cue with where we were. Like I say, please remember it's going to hide those from me. Well, my eyes are pinned because I literally got the sunshine right on my face. So it is literally 12 o'clock to my position. So I can't open my eyes. So yeah, my pupils are protecting themselves from that sun. I've got no... Where are my glasses? I was supposed to bring my glasses with me and didn't. So yeah, you can make all the accusations you want, but it's literally it's right there. You try sitting in that. I think it's wise to stand back and watch. You're right. You're right. Trying to get in the middle of this would be a car crash. Small C conservative is the right way to be. Trying to catch up. You're right, Tom. The world has noticed. They have, haven't they, Dave? They really have noticed on a scale that I don't think a lot of Brits are aware of. But it's not just the Americans, like the whole world has noticed. We are a bad place to do business. We're a bad place to be. And I don't know how many Brits really are aware of just how far we've fallen in people's estimations. But again, not so much the British people. What do I mean by using my notifications up? So I believe, unless any rules have changed, YouTube will allow you only 3 notifications per day, so you can't spam things. So I can make I can make 3 lives, I can make a live, a short, I can make whatever, but 3 is what I get. So I can make a post, but 3 is the maximum amount of notifications within a 24-hour period of time that YouTube will send out on my behalf to you guys if I release a video. So if I release 3 videos or 3 posts or 3 anything, and then I release a 4th of anything, you're not going to get told, is my understanding, unless anything's changed. Get a deck chair for your podcast. This is actually a lovely place to sit. This is really nice. It's why I'm sat down here. You kind of get, it's hard to explain. I don't want to say too much about where I am, but there's certain winds that, if they do exist, are the worst ones to have this time of year. And where I'm at the moment, you get sunshine and at the same time hidden from the elements. So you get a sort of early spring, if that makes sense, because the sun's warm enough, and if you can take the wind out of it, it changes things a lot. And that's kind of where I'm sat right now. So yeah, and this little studio thing behind me, even when it's cold, it's always warm, even in the middle of winter, so it's handy. It'll get worse in April, Tom. Yeah, you're right, actually, I forgot about that. You're welcome, Tina. Thank you, Craig. Used to think them incompetent, now I think it's deliberate. Well, this is what I'm trying to tell you. Well, not tell you, ask. I'd not even ask, just this, what I'm going through personally is just feeling like, it's feeling misled. It's feeling like, one, you pretend to speak for somebody that you may or may not have, and this goes for a lot of people. 2, you've joined a movement that you knew was right wing, which means that everybody just assumes that you are by default. And you've used that mission. And now you're using the same politics, rather than even to defend what you've done, to trying to raise the right wing, which is, it's like trying to raise the sun. The arrogance of it is thunderously phenomenal, and a total clusterfuck if that is what the attempt is, which is why I'm still struggling to believe it, because it would take a thunder cunt of an ego to truly believe that. But when people get together, I don't know. So I don't know if anybody truly believes this or not, because it seems to be even a stretch, even for me. I don't know. But I do know that yeah, like I say, I had a few videos, I was cooking up a lot of videos, and it is making me tired, and I realised that perhaps I can get the negative side, if you like, if you want to call it that, out now, and talk to you guys about it, and then, you know, try and focus on a little bit more of the positive stuff. Again, I don't want to attack people, because the truth is, I no longer know. I honestly no longer know who's what, and I'm sick of guessing, caring, giving a fuck. All I need to worry about is if I'm getting my target audience, because they not believe the same thing as me. It's not like an echo chamber. What I mean is they care about getting their country sorted, and I care about taking care of that audience. Sue, and I care about us, Sue, and I care about us fighting for our countries, both on the community level and on a national level. And anybody that wants that, I'm in with them, and they're in with me. Beyond that, you know, I'm not having any centrists in America, Britain, or anywhere else around the world dictate to me what the right wing should do. They can fuck off, because they're not part of the right wing. Keep your nose out, the same as I do out of your politics. and to dare link us to anything other than conservatism is so fucking disingenuous, because we have hundreds of years of history that prove that different. Anyway, got it off my chest. Breathe. It's therapy. And I'm not as pissed off as I may be. I'm acting it up a bit. Yeah, I am acting it up a bit. So please understand that. I don't just realised I'm tired. I've got a serious face, and you might actually think I'm more. You know, I am gutted. When I first turned the video on, yeah, the weight of it was real. But talking it out, it does make it lighter, you know. And you get it out, and you realise that it doesn't matter. You just need to figure out who's good for politics. Back them, it'll be alright. You know, don't worry. So you soon get over it all. You know, whatever's happened, it wasn't a personal attack on me. It was just, you know, people tried to get away with, again, lying by omission, bringing politics that shouldn't be here. A for effort. A for effort. Like A for effectiveness. Would have been an A plus, but it didn't fully succeed yet. But the right wing and the conservative community in Britain needs to stand up and be counted. Beyond the right party, yeah, sure, but needs to stand up and be counted, because I do believe, like I said, there was no political solution. So even I'm still dodgy on this. This is far from certain. But if I'm going to back anybody, it's going to be someone that, like Rupert, who's really going to go for it. I really believe, whoever does it, this is our last chance. There's no, the election after that, or the election. I just don't believe that. That will be the point where I will consider my place, and I will have to reconsider. What am I now? A guerrilla fighter? Seriously, what would I become if we lose the election in 2029? I would have to rethink what I am, because my position would become different in this country. I would no longer be the dominant force, or dominant politics, or dominant belief, and therefore I'd become a second-class citizen in my own country. So how I would fight, what I would do, would have to change to survive. So that's how I see it. That's how serious I see it. And if you want proof that that's not hyperbole, just look at the videos I was making with Vin and otherwise in the months leading up to this, where, you know, both almost giving up hope on everything because we're saying there's no political solution. So that was then. So there's plenty of proof leading up to this. It's not just saying I've woken up with today and decided to feel all depressed about it. Not feeling all depressed about it. It's a truth that I've had to sort of face slowly, globally, you know. And that's the other thing about, last thing I'll say about what's going on at the moment is the way people are talking is as though that some things are particularly British. Oh shit, I've got to go. Someone's turned up at my house again. I spend times where I don't get a visitor. I won't get a visitor in a long time, but you guarantee the moment I choose to do something for my else, something for myself, they all appear. So anyway, thank you for watching. Sorry, I wanted to at least read for you the rest of your comments, but thank you very much for watching. I will have a look later on when they've processed, and some of these that will come up on screen. Let me just look through them now, actually, so it might come up on screen for me when I have a look back. I appreciate you. There is hope from here. It's just a day in the life. I couldn't have any more go on, could I? Tom Fury, Zero News, calling it day for now.